attacking each other with flour bombs. The town distributes more than 2.5 tons of flour provided by mills in the region. It's believed the custom originated in 1802 while Greece was under Ottoman rule. To defy their Ottoman occupiers who had forbidden carnival, residents painted their faces with ash and danced through the streets. Over time, flour replaced ash, and the custom became the annual event it is today. It is such a mess, houses are covered in plastic sheeting to protect them.
Looks like it'd be hard to breathe. Some people, yeah.
I'm not sure the appeal of this.
Not sure either.
Smell like cookies for days. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, a man is in custody after a dispute in Beloit. We'll tell you what we know.
5 middle school age students are cited following a disturbance. The very latest.
Plus, the warmer weather moving into the area, snow beginning to melt, and that means flooding concerns. How Darlington is preparing.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with us. One man is in custody after a standoff with Beloit police for more than 3 hours.
Our Adam Duxter is live in Beloit with the very latest. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, there was a brief moment where we thought this might be tied to the triple shooting nearby in Beloit last night, but police confirming it is not. But here's what we know right now. One arrest has been made after around 1:15. A call was put into the town of Beloit Police Department for a neighbor dispute. When police came by, they found a man named Walter M. Kolak, who they say they found out had warrants for his arrest in Colorado for felony possession of a firearm. When they attempted to arrest Kolak, they say he barricaded himself in an RV behind his house. That's when the Rock County Sheriff's Office and Beloit Police joined in and got involved. They brought the SWAT team from the Rock County Sheriff's Office, and after about an hour or so, they were able to get Kolak to come out of the RV. No shots were fired, and they were able to arrest him. And we are at Merrill Elementary, which is just about a couple of blocks away or so, who had students in the building at the time. They were placed on lockdown for a brief moment of time, but again, no one was hurt in this incident, and one man, Walter Kolak, has been arrested. No incident outside of that, though, at this time, which is the good news. Again, this is not related to last night in that triple shooting just about a few minutes away from here in Beloit, but that is the very latest here. One man is arrested. The school is back up off of lockdown, and the scene right now is relatively clear.
Adam Duxter reporting live from Beloit. Adam, thank you. Police in Beloit, as Adam was just mentioning, are still looking to identify possible suspects in a triple shooting overnight that left one person dead. A 21-year-old Beloit man was killed and 2 others were wounded late last night. The 2 other victims, a 15-year-old and a 25-year-old, were taken to Mercy Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they are not sure of a possible suspect or suspects, but that they're very early in the investigation. Police are asking people to stop speculating on social media as it could hurt their investigation.
We really request the community's assistance in withholding judgment and withholding social media posts about who they think is involved or who they think a suspect is, because quite frankly, they are unnecessarily endangering other people in our community or creating situations in which others will feel the need to retaliate. That's very dangerous.
As for the victim of this homicide, police are not releasing his identity at this time, but do say it's part of an ongoing dispute and that the victims and the suspects knew each other.
And meanwhile, a woman living near that shooting scene is speaking out. Jessica Bradley says she is still shaken, but was very happy to see police and emergency crews on the scene so quickly after it happened.
It was incredible. So many police officers were here, detectives walking up and down the street. I'm hoping that it will stay a quiet neighborhood, but for the most part, yeah, it is a little scary.
Again, Beloit police say anyone with information related to this case is encouraged to call their non-emergency number.
The man suspected of abducting a 2-year-old girl is also wanted for a double shooting and homicide. Milwaukee police say Darius Higgins is accused of killing 24-year-old Sierra Robinson during a double shooting in Milwaukee Monday. A statewide Amber Alert was issued for missing 2-year-old Noelani Robinson last night. The Amber Alert says Higgins was supposed to return Noelani to her mother, but didn't follow through with the plan. Police believe Noelani was abducted by Higgins, who is considered armed and dangerous. If you see him or the child, you should call 911 immediately.
Madison police are investigating an incident that happened at a library on the north side involving a group of middle school-aged children.
5 of them were issued multiple citations, including disorderly conduct and resisting police. Our Rose Schmidt spoke with a mom who says the incident has left her family shaken. Rose?
Yes, well, officers describe a chaotic scene between 15 and 20 children that were yelling and swearing at police, who say they spent 10 minutes trying to reason with them, but things escalated pretty quickly. 4 officers responded to the library's Lakeview branch yesterday around 5 p.m. after a group of middle schoolers refused to leave. The North District Community Police team was brought in as backup. Police say one girl kicked an officer in the groin and another kicked a chair, toppling a bookshelf. I spoke with Jaleesa Johnson today, who told me her 11-year-old son was issued a citation. Detectives told Johnson that her son was fighting an officer, something she says he would not do. She says the incident left her son so traumatized that he stayed home from school today.
I done seen adults get treated that way, but I've never seen a child treated the way the police did my son yesterday. And it's just like, it keeps going through my head because like he's a baby.
The North Side Planning Council issued a statement today about that library incident, saying they're offering families support and resources. The council says it recognizes that the incident falls within the broader context of the way communities of color are policed. A spokesperson for the Madison Public Library tells me this is not the first time this month police were called there for groups of teens or children misbehaving and using appropriate language. But the spokesperson says the library is working with neighborhood groups to find more positive ways for children to spend their time. Madison police declined my request for an on-camera interview.
Thank you, Rose.
A UW student accused of hitting a UW-Madison police officer has been ordered not to drink alcohol. Logan Mitchell appeared in Dane County Court today for his initial hearing. Police were called to Whitty Hall on Sunday to investigate a report of someone urinating in a hallway. Officers say Mitchell became combative when they approached him and say his blood alcohol content measured 0.20. Mitchell received multiple citations, including underage drinking, possession of a fake ID, and depositing human waste. Let's get a look at your first alert weather, which includes rain and all the trouble that comes with it. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield on the weather patio. Dave?
Yeah, normally, Eric, when we would hear temperatures getting into the 50s and 60s, I think there would be a lot of joy in the forecast, but this forecast definitely has some strings attached, namely some rain. Could be heavy at times over the next few days. We're starting to see that first round of rain make its way closer and closer to Madison over the last few hours, and I think by the time we get to later into the evening commute, some light rain could be falling across portions of southern Wisconsin. In Madison, the WISC-TV Skycam looking at cloudy skies right now. No rain at the present time. 41 degrees in Madison, 40 in Lone Rock, and 42 in Boscobel. It is a little bit breezy. You could probably hear a little bit of that in my microphone. Winds out of the south at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So I think that rain moves in over the next few hours. And again, we could be looking at some heavy downpours over the next few days. And with that rain, heavy at times, also with the snow melting, we could be talking about some flooding concerns. More details on that in your News 3 Now First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Dave. And given that forecast, the city of Darlington is preparing for possible flooding later this week.
Now, this would be the second time this winter that the Pecatonica River has flooded into the downtown area. Our Amanda Quintana live in Darlington right now with more on what they're expecting there. Amanda?
Yes, well, the river doesn't look too high right now, but it will rise fast with the rain that we're starting to get here right now and those warmer temperatures. It is certainly going to rise quickly. The people here of Darlington are getting pretty tired of this flooding, especially since it just happened in October.
It's same like a routine every year we do, so nothing we can do about it.
Matt El-Jezi didn't think about flooding when he took over the Darlington family restaurant right along the Pecatonica River. But in the less than 2 years he's been the owner, it's flooded multiple times, twice in 2018.
Last year we have to close the business for a couple days in February. In October also we close for a day. So pretty much when it happened, then it's very hard to get back to business after the food and everything, you know, getting wasted.
He's hoping that doesn't happen again this week.
It's going to be close.
Darlington Mayor David Breinig is keeping a close eye on this week's weather predictions. The National Weather Service expecting the river to crest at 14.9 feet on Thursday. At 15, they have to close Main Street.
We don't like to see that because that raises troubles with the schools, with the school buses and transportation in town. We don't like to see that. But we have to close the river if it gets dangerous. If it gets high enough, we do have to close it.
The river is at about 10 or 11 feet now, but with sunshine to melt the snow and rain in the forecast,
it can come up quick. Once that melt gets coming, it can come up real quick.
Fortunately or unfortunately, people in Darlington are used to this.
And the public, you know, they're aware of it. They've been here. You know, we've had it once already this winter, and that's life in Darlington.
But as quick as the river rises, it should go down just as fast.
Everybody will be able to get to church Saturday.
And hopefully be able to stop for a bite to eat right after.
The city does have storm flood shields. They're used as door jams. They were given to the city by FEMA in the 90s, but the mayor says he doesn't expect that they will need to use those.
Seems like they're ready and their spirits are good. Amanda Quintana in Darlington. Amanda, thank you.
Governor Tony Evers says he wants to build 2 new juvenile detention facilities in Milwaukee and Hortonia, a small town in Outagamie County. The facilities will house serious offenders from the state's troubled youth prison near Irma. The State Department of Corrections will operate the facilities. Republican legislators passed a bill last year that requires the State Department of Corrections to close the youth prison by 2021 and replace it with regional facilities. The bill allows for borrowing up to $25 million for the facilities.
First responders all across Dane County will be able to better serve people with dementia thanks to a new piece of equipment in ambulances and squad cars. Sensory bags like this one, and they're filled with items that can help someone with memory issues stay busy and calm in the event of an emergency. Things like stuffed animals, dolls, and squishy balls. 60 bags that have been assembled so far and are being delivered to first responders across the county. Sun Prairie's Fire Department first got theirs about 2 weeks ago. EMS Chief Brian Goff says they've already helped them adapt to patients' needs.
If you were to experience an ambulance ride, we could talk about it and you could tell me how you're feeling and what the challenges are, and we could work specifically to make that better for you. But with a person who's not able necessarily to convey those types of complex thoughts and ideas, it makes it difficult. And so having a tool like this is beneficial for us because it helps us to bridge that gap.
Middleton first responders are going through training right now, and other departments across the county will receive their sensory bags soon. Dane County was able to purchase them thanks to a grant from the Aging and Disability Resource Center.
State employees as well as UW employees are giving back to area charities. Partners in Giving, the State University, and UW Health employees combined campaign of Dane County presented a $2.4 million check that will go toward 520 charities. Employees donated through payroll deductions and other methods. Nearly 6,400 employees contributed.
I get more out of giving than receiving. Once upon a time I wasn't so healthy. I am now, and it's like I was given a second chance, and I'm going to go out there and make sure that I can help someone else in their life.
Since the Partners in Giving campaign started 45 years ago, over $79 million has been raised for charitable groups. Verona is adding a new grocery store. Festival Foods announced the Verona location will be the grocery chain's 33rd location in Wisconsin. Officials with the company say the store will be open 24 hours a day and employ about 250 people. The grocery store will open in the fall next to Blaine's Farm and Fleet on Hometown Circle.
Green Bay Packers are reportedly making some big moves in free agency. The Packers are expected to sign linebacker Zadarius Smith tomorrow. Smith led the #1 ranked Ravens defense last season with 8.5 sacks. Former Bears safety Adrian Amos is expected to sign with Green Bay, as well as linebacker Preston Smith. They're also looking to sign offensive lineman Billy Turner. With the Packers adding defensive depth to their lineup, they are releasing longtime outside linebacker Nick Perry. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. A college admissions scandal is rocking some of the most elite schools. What charges prosecutors are handing out to coaches and celebrities.
And the Speaker of the House downplays impeachment talk, but the investigations continue on Capitol Hill. We'll have the latest.
And mixed numbers on Wall Street today. The Dow losing 96, the Nasdaq jumped 33, the S&P 500 added 8. We'll be right back.
It's
Federal prosecutors say wealthy parents used a nationwide bribing scheme to get their children into some of the most elite universities in the country, including Yale, Georgetown, Stanford, and USC.
In a 23-page indictment, federal prosecutors charged 50 people, including 9 athletic coaches. The mastermind, Rick Singer, allegedly took in $25 million in bribes. Actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin are among 33 parents charged. Court documents show Huffman paid $15,000 so that someone could secretly change the answers on her daughter's college entrance test. Court papers show Loughlin and her husband paid $500,000 to have their 2 daughters recruited to the USC crew team, despite the fact they do not participate in crew.
Monday, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi came out and publicly declared she is against trying to impeach President Trump for now. While the White House and the Speaker are on the same page about impeachment, that is not the case with the numerous investigations looking into the president. Special counsel Robert Mueller's report could be handed over to the Justice Department any day now, and Congress may require him to come testify about what he found.
If the Justice Department either attempts to conceal the Mueller report or the underlying evidence, then requiring Mueller to testify may very well be necessary.
Last week, the House Judiciary Committee requested documents from 81 Trump associates and institutions seeking evidence of obstruction of justice and abuse of power. It's one of 6 House committees investigating the president or his associates. Let's get a look at your first alert weather. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joining us once again with your latest forecast. Dave?
Well, Eric, spring is definitely on the way for a couple of days for southern Wisconsin, but that may not be such welcome news because of the threat of some rain, heavy at times, and also some minor flooding that could occur over the next few days. So here's what we got going on Doppler track. We have a powerful storm system that will move up from the south and west. A few rounds of rain already showing up farther to the south and west, and starting to see some of that light rain from this first round on the way show up across southern Wisconsin. We're looking at some light rain closer to Lone Rock and Platteville, starting to move into Dane County. So it's not going to be raining constantly over the next few days, which is good news, but we could have some heavy downpours at times, and with temperatures heading into the 50s and 60s, a lot of the snow that we see across southern Wisconsin is going to melt, and temperatures are going to stay above freezing for quite some time. In Platteville on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam, just looking at mostly cloudy skies right now. Similar story on the Edgewater Skycam in Madison. A few thunderstorms possible over the next few days. Not seeing any thunder or lightning or anything like that. You wouldn't see any thunder normally. Normally we are at 41 degrees right now in Madison, and that's actually where we ended up in high temperature land for today. So a pretty normal day overall. The next couple of days won't be very normal in our weather world. 45 the temperature right now in Janesville, 40 in Watertown, 39 in Mineral Point, and 38 in Platteville. We do have alert days in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday for the threats of that heavy rain showers and isolated thunderstorms will be here in waves over the next few days, and some areas of flooding are possible, especially in those low-lying areas. Also, some minor street flooding is possible, and with all that snow melting, we could be looking at some of those drains across southern Wisconsin being backed up, storm drains, that is. And we still do have about 3 inches of snow on the ground for much of southern Wisconsin, less so to the south and east, and a little bit more in local areas to the north. So a flood watch in effect for all of us until we get to Thursday night. And we are watching that very closely because of all the factors in this forecast, whether it be the ground still being frozen, also the snow melting, and about a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain possible over the next couple of days. All that coming together to create some flooding concerns. Now, as far as average first days of temperatures go, we have been well ahead of schedule as far as 50 degrees goes, because we hit that on January 5th, and we could be looking at hitting our first 60-degree day over the next couple of days, and that would be about a month ahead of what we experienced last year. So there are some good parts of this forecast. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s tonight, rain showers and some patchy fog. On future track, we're noticing some waves of rain, could be heavy at times, a few thunderstorms not out of the question over the next few days. So we're definitely going to need to have that umbrella and the rain boots with us over the next few days. But look at these temperatures, folks. They're really hovering around 50 degrees for much of Wednesday. And then into Thursday, we're close to 60 for high temperatures. As I mentioned, about a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain possible for all of southern Wisconsin over the next couple of days. Again, that all won't fall at once, but it could create some flooding concerns across the area for Wednesday and Thursday. We do quiet down a little bit by the back half of this 10-day forecast, and it's looking like a pretty nice St. Patty's Day across the area, so that's good news. Could have a few rounds of some light rain and snow showers early on Friday before everything does wrap up. A quick look at your first alert traffic update. Todd Drive and the Beltline not looking too bad, maybe a little bit slow in some spots. No major accidents or incidents across Dane County. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speeds, but we are noticing those normal slowdowns on the Beltline. Here are your drive times. Eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan Drive, 7 minutes, so that's running a little bit tardy at the present time. Average speed of around 40 miles per hour, and some other routes in and around Madison. Eastbound University Ave to the interstate, that'll cost you about 20 minutes right now with an average speed of around 50 miles per hour. And that's your first alert traffic update. The last thing that we want to worry about right now is the flooding concerns. Right. Unfortunately, they're here for the next couple of days.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Ahead on News 3 now at 5, why people are spending less money this St. Patrick's Day. That story after a short break. St. Patrick's Day celebrations are going to be a little less spirited this year. A new national survey expects Americans will spend less money celebrating.
But people will still have a good time and keep the green beer flowing. Mary Maloney has a closer look at where the money is going.
Parades, house parties, and green beer. Apparently this year, people will be spending less green. According to the National Retail Federation, the average reveler plans to spend an average of $40 for St. Patrick's Day. The NRF says the March 17th celebration will bring in a total of $5.61 billion to the economy. That's below last year's total of nearly $6 billion. According to the survey, the biggest spenders will be 18 to 34 years old. The biggest portion of that spending will be on food and drinks. More than 70% of people celebrating intend to wear something green and buy St. Patrick's Day themed items. For people under the age of 35, 86% of women and 82% of men plan to step out in green. In fact, 30% of all surveyed partiers say they plan to buy new clothing for the big day. After all, no one wants to get pinched. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
And we'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment.
Pictures.
Here comes the rain.
Yeah, we're watching the flooding potential over the next couple of days for southern Wisconsin with some multiple rounds of heavy rain on the way. We are noticing on Doppler track the first round, some light to moderate showers moving into southern Wisconsin this evening. Some patchy fog also possible tonight, with temperatures dipping into the upper 30s. Alert days in the forecast for that flooding potential for Wednesday and Thursday. Look at those temperatures, though. The low 50s for Wednesday, lower 60s on Thursday before we get closer to normal by next week.
And we'll have more updates in 30 minutes on News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.